Hello everybody, welcome back to some more BD Armory. In the background here you can see yet another fight between two pairs of my Lynx fighters as I try to improve the AI tune on that. Yeah, it's an improvement but still a work in progress. To facilitate the whole, tuning thing, this is a guns only fight, which kind of leads me on to the subject of today's video, because BD Armory presents you with a pretty comprehensive selection of weapons. There's plenty of mods which add on to it if you want. But the actual weaponry that came with BD Armory has remained relatively static for quite some time now, until recently, where they've introduced two new guns. So I am going to go and take a look at those. We're going to start then with this, the 0-point energy field manipulator, or the repulsor gun or repulsor cannon, whatever you want to call it. Please excuse me, there are sounds of my little baby boy laughing hysterically in the background. Yes, I covered this gun, I think this is part of 1.4.5 or the 1.4.6 update for BD Armory. I did cover it in the update video I did for 1.4.6. Basically, it just repulses whatever it hits. I've set up two teams. Both of these are armed with dual repulsor cannons. Now, normally when I do these experiments, I like to set the two teams up differently just so there's something to actually compare. But the point of these isn't really as a deadly weapon. It's sort of... I just really want to see what happens when we arm two teams of craft with this. So, yeah, let's get this one going. So much like the fight on the intro, this is a missile-less fight. This is guns only, so the two sets of teams are just going to close the distance, and we'll see what happens. There might be some destruction if they get a lucky shot, but I've got an idea for these, and I just want to see basically what happens. Narrowly missing. Steve Kerman's craft just managing to dodge that one. Yeah. I just want to see what happens if one of these craft does get hit with it. Oh, look at that. One of them is actually being properly spun out by the repulsor cannon. Yeah, so it's not so much a deadly weapon, it's more sort of just a disruptive device. You know, you just get your craft hit, look at that thing go, oh! Actually... I say it's not a deadly weapon. If this thing keeps getting hit, it might go into the ground like that. Oh, wow. Yeah, it just sows a bit of chaos into the fight. Keeps getting hit in the same place and keeps getting spun out. Ion Kerman having real difficulty controlling his craft. Oh! I think one of the other team though has been forced into the ground just by virtue of the repulsor cannon. How's everybody else getting on? Luna Kerman in a bit of difficulty here, and now, yeah, two of the other team will be heading in to try and Ion Kerman in trouble himself. Ghosty Kerman. I think this craft does have a bit of a problem with flat spins. I think there's only one craft that isn't uncontrollably spinning. Maybe this wasn't the best craft to test this with, but just to get an idea of the chaos this thing can cause. As I said, I do have an idea as to how we might put this to good use. But that will be sort of after we test the next gun I want to take a look at. Let's go and have a shifty at that now. So for this fight we are actually using a proper gun. It's one that hasn't been featured on the channel before, and we are doing a proper comparison between two different teams. This is the GAU-22, a 25mm gun. That's a recent addition to BD Armory. I think it was included with version 1.4.8. Along with the ammunition that it uses, and this will be going up against three of my just standard Vulcan armed craft. Let's get this one going. So the fight starts once again. No missiles, just guns. I've tried my best to ensure that these craft haven't changed with the GAU-22. I think it's the same weight. I've put it in exactly the same position with regards to the centre of mass of the part. So hopefully yeah, the only difference between these two craft should be the weapons that are being used. Some gunfire going in. One of the regularly armed lynxes takes some heavy damage, and I think, yeah, is finding it very difficult. Still has the one engine. That's another craft getting some heavy damage in. Legolat Kerman in one of the Gao 22, the sound bug strikes again. Oh, for goodness sake. Comes around. Oh, that is some heavy damage. Yeah, these definitely do more damage than the Vulcans do. I think slightly better at closer range. Legolat Kerman comes in again. Two of the Gao 22 armed craft going in for Ghosty Kerman's craft, and that is, yeah, that's him out of here. Who's left? Ion Kerman in the last remaining healthy Vulcan armed craft comes around, has one of the Gao 22 armed craft in its sights. Tries to pull around hard. Yes, the other Vulcan armed craft disappears off the vessel switcher, and now Ion Kerman will have the attention of all three of the Gao 22 armed craft, which is not an enviable position to be in. Really is not a good position to be in. Ion Kerman comes around, quite superbly managing to dodge some of the incoming lynxes. But yeah, now the third lynx gets into the fight. I think it might be game over for Ion Kerman. The sodding sound bug. Problem is, it is the Vulcans that cause that, which is, so I've been told. So in a fight with only one Vulcan armed craft in it, that's quite frustrating. Come on then, Ion Kerman. See if we can even this up. Oh, it does have a good shot on one of the other lynxes. Gets some guns away. It doesn't quite manage it. Yeah, two of the lynxes now trying to line up a shot on Ion Kerman's tail, but doesn't manage it just yet. There's one of these things well out of the fight. I'm not sure what's going on here. Legolat Kerman pulls away, tries to line up a shot. We're into a bit of jousting now. Now Ion Kerman takes a heavy hit. And then some more. And is just obliterated. Did any of the Gao 22 armed craft get any damage on them whatsoever? I don't think so. Victory for the Gao 22 armed craft. Those shots did seem to do significantly more damage than the Vulcan would, but not as much as the Gao 8. Yeah, which kind of makes sense, as I think they're supposed to be basically a halfway house between the Vulcan and the Gao 8. Anyway, those are the two guns I wanted to cover out of the way, but there's sort of one more thing I want to take a look at. So the repulsor cannon isn't really an effective combat weapon in as much as it doesn't destroy the other craft. It can incapacitate them, but yeah, if you're up against something that's actually got guns in it, you could be in trouble. But what if we combine a repulsor cannon and a Gao 22? The repulsor to knock the target off of balance, to incapacitate them briefly, and the Gao 22 just to come in and do the damage, to rip them apart. It's just a quick idea I had, and I want to see how this one goes, and we will be putting these up against a trio of the regular Gao 22 armed craft. So hopefully no Vulcans, and that should mean no sound bug. Fingers crossed. Let's get this one going. Once again, our missile-less craft turn to face each other and then just, well, charge towards each other. I really should have lowered the battle start distance, but I know what I'm like. I would have forgotten to put it back up again for the next time I actually needed it at 10 kilometers. Ghosty Kerman trying to set his sights on his opponent. Opens up with guns. Doesn't do quite enough and gets ripped apart. Although I think his debris collides quite spectacularly with one of the just ordinary Gao 22 armed craft. Josh Kerman now. Are you distracted by the incapacitated craft? I'm not sure. Coming around. Can he get the gun and the repulsor cannon off again? Very, very nearly. Another collision. I think they just need the one hit with these repulsor cannons. And that is that done. Josh Kerman is, yeah, going low. Just seems to be using the guns at the moment, not the repulsor cannon as well. They are set up. There we go with the repulsor cannon. I think it was just a case of not lining up the shot properly. One of the regularly equipped craft is now also in trouble. I think that's just going to spin into the ground. How is Ion Kerman? Ion Kerman, the last survivor of the last fight, is coming around. Yeah. The other repulsor armed craft, the one that was spinning out Housefinder, crashed into the ground. Ion Kerman having a bit of a torrid time of it at the moment, though. Does manage to get back onto the tail of his opponent. Just one shot. Just should need the one shot with that repulsor cannon. How is Josh Kerman getting on? Josh Kerman, I think, yes, it's just down to the one. The one Gao-22 armed Lynx who puts some heavy damage. I think that's Ion's craft. Yeah, Ion is gonna spin out. Who needs who needs the repulsor cannon when your opponents have a very, very unbalanced craft with just the one engine? Yes, although that does mean that Josh Kerman has the opportunity to come in and get a shot on his attacker. Comes around, is still distracted by the Lynx on the ground. That's not good news. That is not good news. I am just going to switch teams here, because otherwise we are not going to get any kind of result from our little experiment here. Josh Kerman does manage to get some guns onto the Gao-22 armed craft. The Gao-22 armed craft of Luna Kerman. Luna Kerman distracted by that other tumbling Lynx. Loses some stuff, loses an air intake. Otherwise still healthy though. Comes around. It's a hell of a fight. It is going to go down to the death. I think we can just get rid of that by doing that, can't we? Luna Kerman. Yeah, it's a bit of a dogfight now. Just really is a turning battle, and both of them seem to be pretty equal to it. Luna Kerman carrying a bit less weight though. Stripped of that air intake, seems to be doing a little bit better from it. This is just going to go on forever, isn't it? Wow. Josh Kerman again trying to avoid Luna Kerman's craft. I think Luna Kerman still does have the best of it. Comes in. Strips Josh Kerman of an engine. More gunfire comes in. And Josh Kerman is no more. I don't think we really got the answer we were looking for one way or the other with that fight. So I think it's still a bit of an open question as to whether or not the repulsor cannon can be used effectively in a dogfight. It seemed to have problems sort of lining it up with both guns at the same time. The repulsor cannon didn't really come into it much, so maybe that's a black mark against it, but we'll have to see. I might do some more experimenting with that and see what I can find out. But the Gao-22, an excellent gun, especially a little closer in. Anyway, that will be all for today. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please consider liking, subscribing, maybe follow me on Twitter, maybe getting involved with the Discord, Great BD Armory, KSP, and more besides community on there. There's also PayPal and Patreon links. That's all in the description if you want to help support the channel. I will be back soon with some more BD Armory, but until then, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.